YouTube family. I solemnly swear that one day I will film a video for this channel where I'm not wearing a cosplay wig. Just, I have so many cute ones and they're nice and warm. I'll usually put like a beanie on top of the wig, not only so that it saves me the time of having to properly lay the wig, because beanies hide all the secrets. It's winter time and winter months here on the East Coast are very cold. I'm gonna be wearing my wigs a lot. Anyway, you guys aren't here to hear about my cosplay wigs. Now, I have recently finished season 1 of House of the Dragon. And as you all probably well know by now, House of the Dragon is the prequel series to Game of Thrones. Now, everybody I know, everybody and their grandmama and their mama and their great aunt and their second cousin loves Game of Thrones, and I don't know what it is. I have tried watching it on 2 different occasions, and both times I couldn't get like through the 3rd episode. Like around mid 3rd episode, I would always give up. I know it makes no sense because I love fantasy stuff. I love knights, like sword fighting, dragons, fairy tales, all that kind of medieval era stuff. Like that is my jam, but I don't know what it is. I couldn't jam with Game of Thrones, but for some reason I loved House of the Dragon. Like episode 1 had me hooked and I've loved it ever since. However, I thought it might be fun to kind of like start a discussion / get some things off my chest that just racked my brain about House of the Dragon. If any of you guys feel a similar way, or maybe you guys might have some answers for me, I will be the first to admit I did not read the novels, so it could be possible that there's a lot of things that I'm missing, but a lot of these things I know were just due to like things related to casting choices and things like that. And speaking of the cast, I will start out with what is kind of my biggest thing, and this thing was very distracting to me. And I know like cinema logic wise, you know, a lot of these things might make sense. The casting and recasting via characters' ages. Now, between every episode of House of the Dragon, there's a pretty significant time jump. And it was just odd to me in some ways. For example, like Rhaenyra's actress, which by the way, I love every single actor and actress in the show. You will not catch me like shitting on anybody's acting or anything like that. Like this is nothing like that. So don't come for me saying, well, blah blah is my favorite actress. How dare you? I'm not saying anything bad like that. But I will say it was a bit distracting. You know, we had young Rhaenyra. I understand that at the beginning of the show, Rhaenyra is quite young. She's a young lady. And Daemon is an adult. And then as we kind of go through the series and we make this time jump, specifically the 10-year time jump between Rhaenyra getting married, all of a sudden we have a woman who, to me, it's very obvious that this woman is in like her early 30s. Gorgeous, stunning. Again, like that's not to say anything bad. That's just to kind of let you guys know where my head's at. We jump from having like a 19, 20, 21-year-old looking actress to like a 30-year-old looking actress, yet Daemon's actor stays the same. And it almost makes me feel like I wonder if my brain would have been able to accept the pairing of new actress Rhaenyra and Daemon a lot quicker and easier and digest that if they had chosen a different actor to play like 10 and 15 years younger Daemon. Just for me personally, it felt odd because I spent so much time seeing this actress as Rhaenyra, you know, in love with this actor Daemon, and then all of a sudden we have a completely new actress. And I know some people say, oh my god, it's crazy, they look so much alike, but to me they don't really look alike. Like, to me it's painfully obvious that it's just a brand new actress Like, and it feels like a brand new character. It doesn't feel like the old character Rhaenyra. And I know, granted, you know, maybe that plays into it because, you know, Rhaenyra gets older and she might not necessarily be the same person that she was back when, like, she got married. But to me, it was just a bit distracting. And I wondered if it would have been, like, easier on my brain if we had an actor that was, like, a little younger, with interacting with younger Rhaenyra, and then jumped to this actor as Daemon with the older Rhaenyra. Does this make sense?
No.
Also, it's the same with Queen Alicent. It's just so painfully obvious that it's not the same actress, and to me it feels like we've got like this whole new brand new character. Like, it feels like the character of Queen Alicent is like dead now. That character is gone, and we have this new character just with the same name, playing the same role, but yet the character seems, acts, and feels completely different. You know, and again, this isn't a criticism towards the show. This is just something that tripped me up personally, and it was hard to get used to, especially because I noticed they did that with a few different characters. Sir Criston, for example, he looks like he didn't age a day, which, I mean, pop off, king, good for you. You know, like, some people, they just don't ever really seem to be looking older as they age. But the fact that we know Alicent's completely different, we know Rhaenyra is completely different, yet it's like somebody put Sir Criston in a dang freezer for 10 years and then thawed him back out and popped him back into this world. It's like we did all these things to make sure that we showed the progression of, like, age and, like, growth mentally, emotionally, and physically. Or in some cases, not so much growth, just more trifling tendencies of characters. And then some characters, like, we didn't even bother. We didn't even try. Because Sir Criston is the exact same. And it's like everything around him changed, but he stayed the same. Same with some other characters, and it was just odd to me, you know? And I feel like maybe even, like, with makeup, they could have aged down Sir Criston before to make it at least seem like some difference, even just a subtle difference. Or we could have used makeup to make him look like slightly more aged later on, after like that 10-year time jump, and we just didn't. And it was just very distracting to me. Again, this is not a hateful sentiment. It's just something that I had on my mind, and I like ranted to my brother about it. I got his thoughts on it, and his argument, not necessarily argument, but his stance on it was, well, at first it definitely is jarring because it's so obviously different, and it's like, wait, that's supposed to be this person? Really? Okay. But then by the time you're halfway through the episode and you see that character interacting with the other characters and people whose actors don't change, you kind of get used to it. And this is true. You do get used to it after a while. It's just, for me, it was just so distracting. Like, I kept thinking about it. It was very distracting. Definitely not a deal breaker. Definitely not something that necessarily spoiled the show for me or anything. It's just something that I noticed. Like, I hyperfixated on it. And, you know, my illnesses are my illnesses. I'm not saying that it's a sound person's thought to think that way and to take it so hard that it literally like disrupts your ability to watch. But to me, it was a little bit disruptive, and I wished that they either kept some of the characters as the same actresses specifically and like age them up with makeup, or that we switched out actors and actresses for like everybody except for maybe King Viserys, because they did age him up with makeup really, really well. That's like a great example of like things that they could have done with other characters like Criston. So yeah, that was really distracting to me. Also, what was with the damn banquet scene? God. Okay. I have seen two like polar opposite sides of this argument of the people just raging mad about you know, Sir Criston going savage and like smashing someone's face in, like literally smashing their face in and killing them. And that is valid. However, I did not understand the behavior. Like, okay, first of all, and the name of the character skips my mind at the moment, you know, the secret boyfriend. We'll call him the secret boyfriend. If I was the secret boyfriend and I was in his position, I wouldn't have said nothing to nobody. Nobody. For fear of many different things, for many different reasons. I wouldn't have said nothing. And let's say for some reason it was just killing me inside and I felt like I had to say something and it had to be to Sir Criston. First of all, I would not say it at a like sardine packed like festive get together where there are people everywhere and literally anybody could hear you. I would not talk about it there. Second of all, I would not come off as like weird and slimy as he was being. Like just his tone, it was almost like I know your secret and I know what you know that I know that we both know that they also know. Like, but you've got a secret too, just like they do, sir. So why are you taking that tone with him like he should be concerned about what you know? I wouldn't have approached it as if I was trying to be like weird or sly. And I would have said something more along the lines of, hey, if you don't want to talk about this, we ain't got to talk about it. But I just wanted to establish this real quick that I know about what happened with you and Princess Rhaenyra, and that's your secret. This is my secret. In case you didn't know, this is my secret and this is what we've got going on. And the reason that I'm saying this is that it's because I'm hoping that in some kind of way we can have each other's back. We can help maybe to protect each other if you would like. And if you don't, then I will gladly mind my own business because I'm not trying to get like executed or excommunicated or anything like that. But I just wanted to let you know this. And like, we can help each other out in certain situations if needed. If there is a distraction needed, if we hear somebody else saying something, we can kind of nip it in the bud and do damage control, that kind of thing. And that's it. That's it, man. That's it. And like dap each other up and then leave and walk away and never talk about it again unless like something happens and then you have to talk about it. But no, he approached him where anybody could hear what they were saying and he was just so weird about it. Like, what the hell were you doing? What were you expecting? He had to, like, some people, they do not get social cues. I'm like that sometimes too. Sir Criston's body language, he looked like he was on edge. That alone should have been enough to tell you this is not the time to try to approach him about something that can push him over that edge that he is clearly right on the end of. I repeat, you're approaching him in a very crowded place where anybody of importance could hear you. You're kind of being shady and weird about it, and he's already on edge from the situation. Doesn't justify the violence, but at the same time, I'm like, what did you think was gonna happen? And lastly, of my thoughts of House of the Dragon thing, something that plagued my mind, the fight with the kids. When literally everybody's kids was damn fighting. Rhaenyra's kids, Alicent and the King's kids, Daemon's kids. Everybody was fighting. First of all, I wish the girls would have kind of spoken up and said something, like when we were powwowing with the family about what went down. I feel like the girls could have given a very like unbiased rendition of everything, and I feel like they would have told the truth. And you know, not that anybody was particularly wrong or right in that situation. Like, yeah, like you shouldn't steal people's like dragon, but also it's not like they did a very good job of making sure that nobody else could get to the dragon, you know. And also, you shouldn't like slice people's eye. but you also shouldn't be like bashing people with rocks and like beating them to death. You definitely shouldn't hit girls. That's for fucking sure. I'm the kind of person who I quite enjoy Aemond as an adult, his character, but Aemond as a child, I could not fucking stand. The biggest prick. Both brothers, biggest fucking pricks. The only characters that I stand by in that situation are Daemon's two girls, because they literally did nothing wrong. And the only time that they got violent is when they were defending their cousins or defending themselves, so. But I wish the girls would have spoken up, and I just kind of wish that they would have taken the time to kind of go through the entire situation, because then they would have realized nobody was really correct, but nobody was really incorrect either. I mean, Aemond attacking people and shit ain't cool, but it didn't mean that everybody had to start fighting. Aemond's girls and Rhaenyra's boys, they could have ran off and went to the king, or went to Rhaenyra, or went to Daemon, or went to somebody and been like, this just happened. This just happened, fam. But nah, everybody just had to start fighting. And I know, like, it was prophetic, and Aemond had to lose an eye in order to be able to gain the dragon. But I don't know, that whole thing was just a shit show. Y'all ever watch like Paternity Court or Jerry Springer or something? It was very that. Anyway, is anybody else kind of just going through an internal crisis on whether they totally love Daemon or not? Daemon does some horrible things that are not cool, that I do not condone, but at the same time, I cannot help but absolutely, completely, like, love Daemon. Why? He's just so... Anyway, does anybody relate to any of these things? And again, before anybody tries to come for me and be like, well, if you don't like the show, you shouldn't watch it. You don't have to watch it. Nobody's forcing you to watch it. First of all, not once did I say I didn't like or enjoy the show. Second of all, I'm actually quite literally saying the opposite. I love this show. Like I said, no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I could not get into Game of Thrones, but House of the Dragon had me hooked from episode 1. It is just so good. These are just some things that my little, like, ADD brain just gets really stuck and hyper focused on. And if anybody else can relate, if anybody else might have some input or anything that also maybe stumped them or like really plagued their mind about the show that I didn't talk about, but you want to talk about it together, feel free to put it in the comments and we can shitty chat about it. No negativity or ill will meant towards this show, the creators of the show, or the actors in the show. I think they all did fabulous. These are just things that my very flawed brain couldn't quite wrap itself around, and even now I spend a lot of time thinking about. Feel free to leave questions, comments in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button right on the peachy booty cheeks. Also like other people's comments, because YouTube is playing serious hoe games with algorithms. What else is new? And I find that the more likes that comments on a video get, the more the algorithm favors that video. And I don't know what kind of hoe games these are. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I just try to get ahead of them as well as I can. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if things like House of the Dragon and like TV shows aren't really your thing, then that's totally fine. Stay tuned for my next video, because my next video is going to be D&D related. We are going to be spending some more time talking about the fantastic Ogma, one of my D&D characters, and I will be showing you guys and taking you through a tour of her character journal. I'm super excited about that. So if you like D&D, especially if you like character journal videos or just journaling videos in general, I really think that you guys will like it. Thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.